Yo, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the second channel. I am streaming this, and to those who are coming into the stream, I wasn't gonna miss a day. I know it's late, but I was planning on doing this. So we are ranking all the matches for WrestleMania, right? Literally just finished like 10 minutes ago. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So first, we're gonna kick it off with the Jey Uso versus Gunther match, and I'm very torn on this match. I guess I'll let you guys know. I'm deciding between mid and great, right? I think a lot of people were going into this hating Jey Uso for no real reason. I might add. He's got a lot of unnecessary hate for this. For him being in this position. And I remember people saying, "Oh, he only has four moves. He only has four moves." Well, he busted out a whole lot of moves, and you know who only used four moves? Gunther. So Gunther honestly did not really help in this match, in my opinion. I guess, because these two, before their feud, were putting on great matches, and they have not had a good match since they started feuding. I just think these two cannot work together. That's just what it seems like to me. People are going to blame it on one or the other, but neither of them have had a great match against each other. But you can go back to even just a couple weeks before their feud started in the first place, and you will find great matches from both of them, right? So, in my opinion, they just don't really work together too well. I'm glad Jay's the champion, though, because they were doing nothing with Gunther as champion. I mean, he did not have a single good feud at all, which was kind of crazy, you know? He didn't have a single good feud as champion. So, not to say Gunther didn't deserve to be champion, they just didn't do anything with him. So hopefully they can get it together with Jay now instead. And Jay is the crowd pleaser. I mean, everybody in the crowd loves him. The only people that really don't like him are the internet wrestling community, the ICW, but who gives a shit what they think. So I think, going to leave it in mid tier for that. These two just struggle. The only reason I would maybe put it in great is just because of the storytelling. Him being the second person to tap out Gunther, but even that, Gunther kind of ruined that. Tapping out in less than 3 seconds is crazy, bro. You gotta let it sit in for a second. Like, damn, dog. Like that was bad. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it in mid. These two just do not work well together. But I'm just glad the feud's over, and I'm glad they can both move on to bigger things because they can both have way better feuds than that. All right, next is the New Day versus War Raiders. No surprise, this is going in bad. This match had no reason to be on the card whatsoever. Literally zero. It should not have been on here. And the match itself was not even that great. The in-ring work was not that great. There was obviously no story. The finish was cool. The fact that the New Day won, but other than that, it was not a good match at all. And the fact they put this on here, not the SmackDown tag titles, and the fact that nobody came out during this match or nothing like that, no surprises. It was a pretty terrible match. I'm gonna be honest. I honestly forgot this match happened, and it's been a day. So yeah, pretty terrible match if you ask me. But it is what it is. All right, next we have Naomi versus Jade Cargill. I'm going to put this in great. This match was ruined by their outfits. They both, the entire time, just adjusting the whole time. Jade Cargill had like 30 nip slips. It was ridiculous. The storytelling, of course, for this match was fantastic. The in-ring stuff was pretty good too, but this match was cut a little short. I don't know why. I wish they would have gone longer. They probably cut it short because both of them kept ending up naked in the middle of the ring. So, that wasn't great. They should have at least tested this ring gear. I'm not blaming them, but I'm blaming whoever gave them the ring gear because it sucked. So, yeah, a great match, but it was cut short. So, not the biggest, not the, it could have been a classic, but it was honestly ruined by that. That's why I feel like it was cut short, but I don't know because the pay-per-view or day one lasted longer than day two. So maybe it was supposed to be that short, but yeah, it was just too short of a match. Our next we have Fatu versus LA Knight. I would also say this is a great match. I mean, it was really fun. Fatu was great in this match. And yeah, not much to say here. Overall, just very good. The storytelling was there. It wasn't as good as the Jade and Naomi, which is why I'm gonna have it below. But it was a great match and it was very fun to watch. All right, next we have El Grande Americano versus Ray Phoenix. And honestly, I better not get hate for this, actually. I'm not going to put it in classic. I really want to. But it's going to go at the top of great. I think it was the best match. Well, the second best match in night one. This match was fantastic. Honestly, El Grande Americano, whoever he is, this newcomer, fantastic. Versus another newcomer and Ray Phoenix. Oh my God, they both put on a show. And can we just give Ray Phoenix a round of applause for performing like that in a 1 day's notice? I mean, that is fantastic, honestly. These two newcomers put on one of the best shows of both nights. So they're going to go top of great. The storytelling was there until Rey Mysterio got hurt. But then when Rey Phoenix came to replace him, the new guy repping to go against the other new guy, it was great. Very great match. All right, next we have Tiffy versus Charlotte Flair. I really want to move it into bad, but the only reason I'm not going to is because the match actually started off good. If this match was about 10 minutes less in length, it'd actually be a great match. The last 10 minutes of this match, or the last 5 to 10 minutes, are absolutely horrible. It is some of the worst wrestling I've ever seen. Just terrible. It was so boring. It was honestly so hard to stay awake during this. The only reason I kept watching at the end was because I knew the main event was next. But yeah, they should have ended this. This match should have been cut in half. Honestly, it was very good at the start, and it just crashed. All right, next we have the main event, which is Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. I mean, this is obviously a classic. Seth Rollins once again stole the show at WrestleMania. In my opinion, this was the. It's close. It's either one or two for both nights. I'd have to think about it more, but it was a fantastic match, and obviously the shift of power that's going to have with Seth Rollins having Paul Heyman, and now Roman being by himself. And Roman said without the wise man, there would be no tribal chief. So we'll see what happens to Roman. Punk as well. Where does he go from here? So this shakes up a large majority of the main event picture, right? So, and the match was really good itself. So obviously it's going to be a classic. Yeah, nothing really wrong with that match. Next, day two is a little bit out of order, but we have Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. This is also going to go in the match itself was okay. The problem was for me, actually, I think I'm going to move it up to mid. Because it wasn't as bad as Tiffy and Charlotte. Because the in-ring work was great and all, but there was zero story. But I am glad they did include the only person trying to make a story out of this, which was Karrion Kross. He did more for this story than either of them did. So I was glad he was in it at least a little bit, but his role was not very significant. There was obviously no Prime bottle. Logan Paul won almost entirely clean, which is ridiculous. I'm all for Logan Paul having these matches against legends, but in the previous years, he's only winning because of his cheating, and now he beats one of the best in-ring workers of all time clean. I found that a little bit ridiculous, but overall, it was a good match in the ring. And I'm glad Karrion Kross got his moment to come out in his hometown because he pushed the story farther than either of them did at all in his 1 week of going at it. So, yeah, I'm going to say it was mid. It wasn't anything great. All right, next we have the women's tag match. This is going to go below the War Raiders and the New Day. And there's a whole lot of reasons. Now, if you just watch the matches and ignore everything, you'd probably say this one's better, right? But no, it's not. Becky Lynch coming back, who really cares, honestly? Lyra's already the Intercontinental Champion. She should have been defending that, but instead, nope, we're going to throw her in the tag team. I don't necessarily mind the Judgment Day holding it, but it's also kind of pointless because there were so many other matches they could have done. They could have thrown Liv into the women's match and made it a fatal four-way. That would have been fantastic. But I'm not necessarily complaining about them being a tag team, but this takes away... If Becky was coming back, this takes away the option between Becky versus Lyra, which would have been great. We could have had Bayley versus Roxanne, which Bayley wasn't even there at all. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't really care. But Bayley wasn't there at all, and she could have fought Roxanne. Roxanne, not on any show, by the way, and it was ruined because of this match. This match not only ruined a lot of matches that could have been great, it also wasn't good. Like, this match was really boring. This is when I went to go make food. This is when I went to go use the bathroom and stuff, because this match just sucked, honestly. And then after, you have Stone Cold come out and hit a fan with his ATV. So overall, I know it has nothing to do with this match, but that match sucked. Just being honest. And it's not even because the people in the ring. I mean, it kind of is. The match was boring, but there was no point for this. This match had zero story, and if anything, it had negative story because it ruined all the other ones we could have had. So yeah, just bad. This was a cancerous match. It took away from everything. All right, next we have the triple threat, which was Bianca, Io, and Rhea. I'm gonna say it was great, right behind El Grande and Rey Fenix. I saw people saying this was an instant classic, but the ending was bullshit. I mean, let's be honest. It'd be okay if Io won, but not only did she win in kind of an anticlimactic way, like it was just one finisher was hit and then she jumped on them and it was over. Like there could have been so much more, especially with the triple threat. But Io pinned Bianca. So not only did the worst option win, in my opinion, but she ruined the undefeated streak of Bianca. So the person who was treated like the underdog in the whole story, because no one really cares about her as much as Bianca and Rhea. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, she's great in the ring, but no one really cares about those two. So, or no one really cares about her as much as those two. So she won, which I don't even have an issue with. But she pins Bianca and ruins the undefeated streak. Why? For what? Like, what purpose did that serve? Zero. And also, they have a triple threat match, which means no rules, and they didn't break a single rule in the whole thing. Like, what was the point? This could have just been Io versus Bianca. They had no reason to throw Rhea in there other than, oh, we need Rhea on the card. I would have much rather just seen Rhea versus Liv again than this be a complete waste of time. Like, it was a fantastic match in the ring, don't get me wrong. It was just the ending was stupid. Like, Io, if she was going to win, should have pinned Rhea because it ruined Bianca's WrestleMania streak. But then again, why is Rhea even in there if she's going to make no difference in the match at all? She had cool moments. Yes, they all did because it was a great match. But this did nothing. This did nothing except ruin Bianca's reputation at WrestleMania, which we thought we had something cooking with that. And they said, oh, this makes Io Sky a real threat now. No, it doesn't. It was the same as a match we're going to get to later, but I think it's a lot better. But it didn't prove anything. Bianca and Rhea beat each other up the whole time still. She could not have won a 1v1 against either of them if she was going to wrestle like that. So, in my opinion, the ending was dumb. She should have pinned Rhea because it just ruined a whole lot. Because now Rhea has no story because nothing really happened for her. Bianca's story about WrestleMania got ruined, and still no one's going to take Io as seriously as the other two. So, in my opinion, the ending was bad. If Io's going to win, she needs to pin Rhea. But in my opinion, Rhea should have won and pinned Io. But result doesn't really matter. It's just how it happened, I think, sucked. So, that is the only bad part. The rest of the match was absolutely fantastic. It was great. Other than the fact, like I said, they didn't break a single rule, even though it was a triple threat. Like, even when they went to the outside of the ring, they weren't even out there for 10 seconds. So, they literally just followed the rules in a triple threat. So, yeah, kind of weird. All right, next we have Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. This was another great match. I'd probably put it just above Fatu and LA Knight. It was pretty good, honestly. You know what? I'm going to zoom in just so you guys can see a little better. I thought it was a great match. Obviously, just a lot of chaos, which is great sometimes. You know, sometimes you need that. The story, I feel like, wasn't really resolved, though. I don't know. But it was cool. It was cool to see Drew McIntyre win. He definitely deserved it after all the memes and stuff about him being downgraded and about how Damian Priest is Damian Hogan or whatever. But yeah, I'm fine. I've been fine either way with whoever won. It was just a pretty good match, so you can't go wrong putting those two in the ring. All right, next we have the Fatal 4-Way, which between Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, Braun Breaker, and Penta. This is a classic. Now, in my opinion, it is just as good as the triple threat. I am debating on putting it ahead. I have to think about it. The spots in this match were fantastic. I wish this match was longer. I wish this match was the main event. It was by far the best match of night 2. Not even close. It was fantastic. Just the storytelling in it was great. The spots were great. The finish was great. And here's the thing. The underdog won in this one too. The same with the Io one, which is why I said I'd talk about that. The difference between this is Dom pinned the person he should have pinned. Io did not. She should have pinned Rhea. Dom pinned Finn, which is going to create a whole new story for Finn, create a whole new story for Dom, create a whole new story for Penta. That was the best thing they could do story-wise. The O1 was not, which is, again, why it's not in a classic for me, is just because the way they ended it was not great. But the Dom one is, because it's what needed to happen. But either way, whoever won this match, it was going to be great. But the reason I'm not going to put it above the triple threat, just because it's not shaking up the main card, right? Like, this is literally the mid card, although this was a main event worthy match. Let's be honest, this match was fantastic. So yeah, it's going to go right under the triple threat. All right, next we have Randy Orton versus mystery opponent, which we obviously know was Joe Hendry. Honestly, I can't put it in great, but I'm going to put it at the top of mid. It was fun. It was really funny to see Joe Hendry come out there, and how awesome is that? A guy who's not even in WWE had a WrestleMania match before his first match in WWE, right? So that was sick, and he got to fight Randy Orton. And if you don't know, I love Joe Hendry, so yeah, it was great. It was a short match. Joe Hendry didn't get to do much, and so the actual match wasn't great. It was just the moment was really good, so that's why it's going to go mid. The match wasn't really all that. All right, next we have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. This may be a hot take, but I think that was a bad match. I really do. The match itself was pretty terrible. It was just so slow paced. Every time any momentum would pick up, John Cena would either roll out the ring or stop it, or even when Cody started getting the momentum, John Cena would reverse it and then stop. It was just so stop and start, which I get, he's a heel, but it was boring. To be honest with you, it was boring. And I was watching it with my dad because he came out to watch the main event, and I couldn't help but sit there and think, this was one of the worst matches he could have came out to watch. Like, it was not good. Like, if he wanted to reminisce on what WrestleMania was again, because he used to watch wrestling a lot when he was younger, right? If he wanted to see how it is now, that match was not a good example. Then they had Travis Scott come out, which a lot of people are going to hate that. I honestly liked that Travis Scott came out. I think it helps benefit the story, because if Travis Scott was never seen again, then him being there at Elimination Chamber was stupid, right? So I'm actually glad he was there. But the spots where the ref was getting hit, I mean, it was just so clearly intentional. And it was almost like they treated this like Cody versus Roman, except they were like, yeah, we're just going to do like the first part of that, not the last part. No good ending or anything. No real good wrestling. No crazy moments either, other than Travis Scott, which wasn't even that crazy. That was pretty expected, honestly. Yeah, this match really wasn't great. I honestly can't think of anything that was good about the match other than Cena breaking the record, right? But other than him breaking the record, what was so special about it? Nothing, honestly. The match kind of sucked. It was really bad. Um, and yes, there probably is a little bit of bias because it is the main event. So, when you go into the main event, you expect it to be something great, and that was not great. It just really wasn't. There was nothing nothing really good about that match, if you want me to be honest with you. So, yeah, I think it deserves bad. At most, you could put it in eh, but I'd actually still prefer to watch Tiffy versus Charlotte. I was not a big fan of that match. Also, this match ended like 10, 15 minutes early. There was still that much time left in the show, and they could have used that to extend one of the other matches, right? But instead, no, we had to end it like that, and it just wasn't great. I would much rather see 10, 15 more minutes of the Fatal 4-Way. That match was fantastic, and if we would have got those 10, 15 more minutes, it would be number one, because that match was so good. That was a classic. I will go back to watch that match, but I will not go back to watch Cody versus Cena. There's no shot. There's no chance. It was just not a great match. But with that being said, for the YouTube, if you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe.